Phylum Arthropoda is the largest phylum in animal kingdom. Along with nematodes, arthropods are classified as ecdysozoa. Ecdysis is the process of shedding the old skin as we find in snakes. Arthropods also shed their old exoskeleton and that is replaced by similar chitinous exoskeleton again. They have jointed limbs and hence named as arthropods. Among the arthropods, the largest class is class Insecta. Insects show an extraordinary diversity. They represent the most diverse class of animals in animal kingdom. Among 10 animal species on this planet, nearly 7 are insects. Insects contribute nearly 70% of animal biodiversity explored so far. They show various different features, and one of them is presence of paired antennae. At the tip of their head, there are two projections which are called antennae. This is the organ of olfaction found in the insects. In some insects, these antennae are longer. The sense of smell insects have is because of these paired organs. In some insects, this sense of smell is so strong that they can detect the pheromones secreted by female insects from a distance of few kilometers. Hello friends, this is Lakshmiraman Oza from Samartha Biology Tutorials Latur and you are watching SBTL webcasts. In last 6 parts we discussed various different characteristic features of living organisms. This time we are going to talk about the revision or recap. Let us summarize those all 6 parts and we are going to the next section of this topic. But before that, let's have a quick summary or recap of all those 6 parts once again. Two-thirds of world's population lives in Asia. Asia accounts for 39% of world's GDP. However, over 320 million people in Asia live in extreme poverty. But there is a flip side, and that is among the 17 most biodiverse countries, 5 are from Asia. India is one of them. As per the figures published by IUCN in 2004, with a land area of just 2.8% on Earth, India houses 8.1% of global biodiversity. India is at 7th rank in world's most mega biodiverse countries. Then we started with the features of life, characteristic features of life. The first feature that we discussed was growth. Living organisms grow. They grow in size as well as they grow in numbers. Take examples of bacteria. We took the example of bacteria. They divide, subdivide, and this cycle repeats almost in a span of 20 minutes to 30 minutes in each bacteria. In most of the bacteria, we can say. These divisions taking place in bacteria, that does not mean division of a simple droplet or a blob, but that is actually distribution of a circular DNA bacteria have, with one copy of it produced once again before the bacterial cell undergoes divisions. Bacteria grow in number. Many microbes, they divide and grow in number. While in higher plants and animals, this growth is under an influence of hormones. Plants have a tissue called meristematic tissue, and that is responsible for growth of plants. Few hormones like auxins and cytokinins, they help in plant growth. While in animals, this growth depends even upon the activity of hormones in them. Growth is one of the characteristic features of living organisms. Inside the cell, there are about 100 to 200 different small organic molecules. In almost every cell, these molecules participate chemical reactions. These reactions are called biochemical reactions. If we carry out a chemical reaction inside a laboratory, then we need to provide energy in the form of heat or some other way externally. There is one more method. The rate of chemical reaction can be increased by adding a substance that is called catalyst. Enzymes are biocatalysts. They accelerate the chemical reactions. How? In any reaction, the reactants must be destabilized first. The bonds in reactants must be destabilized to form new bonds in the products. This is done by catalysts. They destabilize the chemical bonds in the reaction. The molecule on which an enzyme molecule acts is called substrate molecule. Enzymes are larger than substrate molecules. Most of the chemical reactions taking place in the cell are carried out with the help of such catalysts called enzymes. Every biochemical reaction in the cell needs enzyme to take place. In most of the living organisms, the reactants, the participants of biochemical reactions are much similar. There are about 100 to 200 different types of basic molecules which participate in the chemical reactions taking place inside the cells of most of the living organisms. They may be simple sugars, they may be amino acids, they may be simple molecules which further polymerize or they construct larger molecules through process of polymerization or the process of dehydration synthesis. This continues. This process of formation of larger molecules from smaller molecules requires energy. It is kind of generating order inside the cell. While the breakdown of larger molecules that releases energy. The biosynthetic pathways which require energy, they are produced from simple molecules and complex molecules are formed from them. Those are called anabolic pathways or anabolic reactions. Anabolism is the process, biosynthetic process in larger molecules are constructed from simpler components. While catabolism is the process in which a larger molecule is broken down and that releases energy. Just take example of glucose breakdown. That takes place during the process of cellular respiration, and that results in formation of simple forms like carbon dioxide and water, while energy is released during these catabolic processes. Anabolism and catabolism together are termed as metabolism. There is a hierarchical arrangement of various components in our body. Our body is made of various systems. Systems are made of organs. Organs are made from tissues and tissues from the cells. There is a hierarchy in this arrangement. Cell is the structural and functional unit of our body. Every organ, every system is composed of cells. Our body has nearly 220 different types of cells. For example, in bones, there are cells called osteoblasts, osteoclasts, osteocytes, etc. Nervous system has cells like neurons, neuroglia. Eye contains rod cells, cone cells, they make the retina. Heart has myocardial tissue, muscle cells. Digestive system has various different layers of cells in it. Our various systems, they have various different types of cells. And all these cells, they have a common genetic material. Human body is a vibrant community of populations of various different types of cells. All these cells are made from a single cell. They are derived from a single cell, that is zygote. Zygote means pair, and when during the fertilization, male pronucleus present in the male gamete unites with the female pronucleus present in the female gamete, one set of chromosomes, 23 chromosomes, unites with the other set of 23 chromosomes, and there are 23 pairs of chromosomes formed after that. As the chromosomes are paired, the resulting cell is called zygote. Zygote undergoes further divisions. In early stage, up to fourth day after fertilization, the cells which are divided from the zygote, they are into a single mass, single bunch, and all these cells are totipotent cells. Means if we artificially separate any cell, then that cell can give rise to a complete similar living organism, similar human, and hence these cells are called totipotent cells. Eventually, these cells lose their totipotency. They become specific. They produce cells in specific organs and specific systems. And this results into differentiation. Cells differentiate. Same thing happens in plants also. If you take example of a leaf, then the leaf has an outer surface, and that is made up of epidermal cells. Inside the leaf, there are mesophyll cells where photosynthesis takes place. There is vascular tissue inside the leaf that distributes water and nutrients in various parts of leaf. And hence, there are various different types of cells present in the leaf also. But everything in living organism is derived from a single cell that is called zygote. We learnt this process of differentiation, and then we started with next characteristic feature of living organisms, and that was the ability to sense, that is the consciousness. Living organisms can sense their surrounding, their environment. This is something which marks the livingness, the life factor in the living organism. Take example of insect once again. There are chemoreceptors present on the feet of insect. Butterflies, they test using the chemoreceptors present on their feet. That is interesting. Living organisms sense their environment, and at last we started discussing about the continuity of life, that is reproduction. Living organisms reproduce by both ways, sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction. Take example of Hydra. Hydra reproduces by forming buds. These buds give rise to an independent living organism, and that afterwards detaches from the parent organism and independently lives. So how this happens? That is because of few totipotent cells, those grow into a bud, and this bud now can give birth to a new Hydra. So reproduction may be sexual reproduction or asexual reproduction. We discussed these various different features of living organisms so far in the 6 parts. Friends, thank you for listening me so kindly, and let's meet again in the next part, where we are going to discuss about the system of classification and binomial nomenclature. Thank you very much for listening me so kindly, and I thank to the new subscribers and those who like the videos. Thank you very much. And this is Lakshmi Raman Ozha from Samarth Biology Tutorials Latur. You are watching SBTL webcasts.